The records of the fighters mentioned Carl Jones' one loss, and his only loss took place in his third professional fight back in 1983. He lost by decision to a pretty fair contender, Fred Hutchings.
Fred Hutchins, a very acceptable opponent because he was big at that time.
So Micheal Nunn in the blue. Record of 13-0, 10 by knockout, and in the black trunks, Carl Jones, 23 years old, out of Los Angeles. Nunn has excellent boxing skills, not a knockout specialist, although his KO ratio is impressive. Likes to use much movement in the ring, and here he goes. Looks to circle and backpedal, flick the jab. He's very elusive.
Supposed to be a very fine fighter who doesn't knock out people with one punch, just sort of wears them out. He's a quick puncher. And people in Las Vegas and out west here very high on this young man. Prospect of his future is very bright.
There you go. Move, Mike. Off the ropes, Mike.
Now we're looking at a guy who's got fast hands and fast feet.
Come on, get that right hand out of his face.
Turn your toes. Stay out the inside, Mike.
Nunn likes to dance, which has led to stamina problems. He has become winded in the later rounds of the bout, and he has run out of gas, but he's a technician who rarely gets hit.
And should we think that it's an easy fight he's in, Carl Jones is, they claim, his toughest fight, in tough, because this is one of those kids, he's 16-4, but he comes to fight, and he can put you out with one punch.
Mike, you stop punching your move. Get off the ropes.
Oh, a big left hand, and Nunn is set down. Now, according to Nunn, he had never been knocked down.
Well, having said that he can do it with one punch, he must have hurt us because he let fly that one punch. And here is Nunn, who has number 14 written on his trunks, in trouble.
Move, Mike.
And Nunn stepping it up against Jones. So Micheal Nunn, the 22-year-old from Davenport, Iowa, now living in North Hollywood, California, coming in as a highly regarded prospect, is put down here in this opening round. We're scheduled for 10, put down by Carl Jones.
Come on, Mike, keep moving.
Norman Henry, the manager of Carl Jones, said he's willing to take this chance because he thinks that Carl Jones has been underrated and he belongs with good competition.
Don't hang on. Come on, Mike. Get out of there. That's it. Move, Mike, move. Don't stand there.
And we had mentioned earlier that Nunn is one who rarely gets hit. But Jones having no difficulty. Final seconds, first round.
Jab, jab.
And this is round 2, scheduled for 10 from Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. Micheal Nunn in the blue and Carl Jones in the black. Not only had Nunn never been down before, but he had never been hurt in a previous bout.
Well, that's what you call learning the business. You got to see what a fighter's got after he goes down. Does he come up fighting? And he did. He came up, he survived the round. In fact, he was winning that round toward the end, although you have to give it to Carl Jones.
Micheal Nunn, the southpaw, in the blue. Carl Jones in the black trunks. Jones, 23 years old, from Las Vegas. His last fight back in October, he came up with a 10th round TKO of Kevin Perry that he says was his toughest fight.
Well, right now, he is giving a boxing lesson to Carl Jones. He's got a very fast hand. He's got an accurate jab.
Get off them ropes. Jab, jab, jab.
Wonder if he's going to get over that habit of putting the number of his expected victory on his trunks. There's 14. He's had 13-0. Boy, it's putting a load of Kanahara on you.
There you go.
That's a new one. Have you ever seen that before?
Kanahara?
No, that's good.
Hands up. Not the rope. Get out of there.
Let's see, Las Vegas time.
There you go.
It is just past 11 in the morning. It's kind of a strange time for two guys to be in the ring fighting each other.
He's gonna do that, Mike. There you go.
Jones is getting hammered with Nunn, but Nunn's punches aren't really sharp. They're so fast that they aren't hard, whereas Jones, knowing that he can load up and put this guy down on one punch, is willing to take those little bitty-fat punches to land his one big hook as he did in the first round.
Get off the rope. Get off the rope. Bring that uppercut there.
And when you look at the records of these two fighters, Micheal Nunn has had a couple of impressive victories. He stopped veteran Mexican Marcos Geraldo in the 5th round, and he won by decision over George Amparo, another experienced hand.
Wonderful combinations on the part of Nunn. I think his left-handed stance, his southpaw stance is confusing Carl Jones quite a bit. He just doesn't know what to make of that right jab that keeps popping in there.
Mike, get out of there. Move.
It'll be interesting to see how many left-handers Jones has fought before this, because he is totally bewildered. He doesn't know where the punches are coming from.
Jab, 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 jab. There you go.
Nice left hand by Nunn, who has come back strong in the 2nd round.
There you go, big guy.
In the corner, Carl Jones, his trainer Perry Smith, with some strong words of advice between rounds.
I'm afraid he didn't need that advice. What he needed was what to do with his left-hander. I mean, how do you block these right jabs? Where do you circle to? How do you move around? He's standing right in front of him, standing straight up. He's not bending down. He's not giving him movement. So the guy's got a heavy bag right in front of him. He can do anything he wants to, and that's what he's doing.
Mike. Keep peppering. It'll happen, kid.
That's over and over again. We see the corner story tells the tale. Nobody instructs these kids what to do, and so all they're doing is saying, "Step in there, do better." Well, do better is not good enough. How do I do it?
And we just heard that echoed from the corner. Step in.
He's too
Carl
far
Jones
away.
was doing great.
He said, "Yeah, but I've got to eat that jab on the way in. What do I do about the jab?" Nobody said him to bend down. He's got to bend and come in punching once he bends.
There you go.
He's got to give movement. He's got to move either to one side or the other.
Get up there.
Micheal Nunn in the blue has stepped up the pace after he was surprisingly put down in round 1 by Carl Jones in the black trunks. And Nunn now looking very confident. He's counting punches as he lands.
Nunn is fighting like there's two fighters that I saw that didn't have a punch that just obliterated everybody. Muhammad Ali was one and Luis Rodriguez was the other. That's the way they fight. Just pop, 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 pop. Pretty soon the other guy gets so tired he goes down almost from frustration. But you don't think he's going to knock out anybody with the kind of punches he's throwing now.
Keep that head moving. There you go.
Occasionally Jones will get the left hand in, but it's all Nunn. Flicking the jab and on his toes and in constant movement.
Isn't it strange, all Nunn or none at all?
You are too deep for me at this hour.
It's early in the morning on Las Vegas. What else can you talk about?
And we're coming up on 30 seconds remaining in this 3rd round. It's scheduled for 10.
Dancing feet on the part of Nunn. He just barely touches the canvas. He is a thing of beauty if you like speed and fast boxing. Reminds me of Willie Pastrana. He just glided along, bipping and bopping until he finished the fight.
Look that up. Get him on the end of that jab all night, Mike. Get him on the end of it.
Body. That's it. It's been target practice for Micheal Nunn
Up already, Mike.
throughout these last 2 rounds.
Keep working. Pepper. He's blinking, kid. There you go.
Marv Albert back in Las Vegas, where earlier we saw Robbie Sims stop John Collins at 2:46 of round number 1. We are now watching a scheduled 10-rounder with middleweight prospect Micheal Nunn going against Carl Jones. You saw the first 3 rounds, rounds 4 through 8, a bit on the tedious side, and we are being generous with that particular assessment. Let's pick it up, though. Now, here is round number 9.
I got it.
And this is round 9. We have heard many intriguing comments from the corners during the course of this fight, but the capper in the corner of Micheal Nunn just a moment ago, Nunn was said, now, I don't want to see any bravado acts of bravery.
Don't play games with Mike.
See any acts of bravery. And Nunn said, you don't have to worry about me. Mike. I intend to run the last 2 rounds just like I've been doing.
Look at that. Look at that.
I've heard people saying, don't fight this guy. Don't get brave.
1, 2, bing, bing, hook right.
I don't want any acts of bravery.
There you go.
Rather flowery way to put it.
That's it. Don't wait, Mike. Get out of there. There you go. There you go. That's it, Michael.
This crowd has been very compassionate because Nunn has gone through this type of fight in the past and has heard the boos in Los Angeles.
I don't think that bothers this guy. I think he's preparing himself for a major league career, and these are his training fights. He certainly is a fine defensive fighter.
Look at that.
Look at this corner. Just playing, and just having fun with this
There
guy.
you go, big guy. Bring that up behind that hook.
But he has to have more than that if he's going to be in the major leagues. He's got to develop some kind of punch. He's got to develop some kind of offense that'll win fights. When he's in there with a tough guy, he can't get away with this.
Can a punch be developed?
No, what you can do, though, is begin to throw it more seriously than he's thrown. He hasn't thrown a serious punch. Nothing hard. Everything has been tended just to hit the target. There has not been a punch with knockout intention thrown in this fight by Nunn. That's another great one. Nunn is done.
Get off them ropes, Mike.
It's good. Freddie, this fight and the weather have gotten to you.
Move, Mike. Move. Use that middle of that ring.
Nunn's boxing, though, designed to score points, and he did have a terrific amateur career. And you can understand why, winning 168 of 176 fights, and what a berth as an alternate on the 1984 U.S. Olympic team. Narrowly beaten out by Virgil Hill, who ended up with a silver medal.
Get off them ropes.
Must have been some fight, because this guy should be a tremendous amateur fighter. That's what he's fighting, amateur fights right here. You're seeing an amateur fighter who has not gotten rid of the amateur, I need to just touch him to get points technique. He's got to get into being a pro somewhere along the line.
Get out of there. Don't stand there for him. Move, baby. Get out of there, Mike, and move.
Coming up to the end of round 9.
There you go, jab, move.
10th and final round. Micheal Nunn in the blue and Carl Jones
He's got to try
in the black.
Mike. You move, baby.
Back in round 1. Jones with a left hook, landing flush on Nunn, knocked him down. Since then, it's been the boxing skills of Nunn, although it has not been exciting. In fact, it's been a yawner from the spectator point of view, but it is Nunn piling up the points and with the sizable lead here in the final round.
And if you're left with one impression, it is the excellent condition of Nunn and his cord-like legs. They just, look at this, 10th round, he's still bipping and bopping and dancing around. Frustration written all over Carl Jones.
Give some work, Carl. Here we go.
It's depressing to think that the highlight of the fight was in the first round and it went downhill after that.
We discussed earlier the fact that Nunn has had stamina problems in the past because he has constant movement, but does not seem to be having any difficulty with his stamina here in this 10th and final round. Still on his toes, still able to dance, and still not able to punch.
Keep your hands busy, Mike. There you go.
And not trying to punch hard. He's just not putting it in there. Jones finally get him in the corner. Look at him. The guy moving around with an illegal hold on the neck. But that's a Muhammad Ali trick. Ali did that his entire career.
And here's Jones. That's the first left hook he's attempted in many rounds.
Finally, after that 9 months of 9 rounds, it feels like 9 months. At least they're giving birth to a stillbirth to a baby here of boring proportions. That's the first time that he really threw something in anger and reached for it. At least he tried.
Big guy, you got 30 seconds. Get off them ropes.
There's 30 seconds to go, and Jones still can't get himself close enough
Keep moving. 20 seconds,
to punch.
Now you're believing the corner. The man is giving inaccurate times. Bertie, this has gotten to you. That's the correct time on the screen.
So I lied.
There you go, Mike. Yeah.
Micheal Nunn out of Davenport, Iowa. Now living in North Hollywood, California. Carl Jones from Los Angeles will go the distance.
There you go.
In a very dull fight. Final seconds.
20 seconds. Get up there, bro.
And now the corner says 20 seconds, which is what he said 45 seconds ago. Back in Las Vegas, we're set for the decision. Let's go to the ring. Here's Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the decision of the judges. Judge Chuck Giampa scores 99-91. Judge Bill Graham scores 98-91. And Judge Patricia Jarman scores 98-93 for the winner by unanimous decision and still undefeated, Micheal Nunn.
Clear cut for Micheal Nunn, who is now 14-0, winning by decision over Carl Jones. And earlier today, in the main event, it was Robbie Sims stopping John Collins in round number 1. And Ferdy Sims looked very sharp right from the start, but Collins didn't look right. And we made a comment regarding that left eye, which did not look good.
There was a cut under that left eye that was covered by makeup. The ring doctor wiped off the makeup, said that's a cut, but it's not bad enough. We'll go ahead and let you fight. But obviously that was going to be a factor in this fight had it gone longer.
Covered by makeup?
That's right. Max factor number 3, I think.
The Hampton